All righty. It's what time? I can't believe it. It's like 2:30 in the afternoon. But outside, all the chemtrails, look at how much wind is happening out there. So much wind. We had rain earlier today. Made myself some breakfast. Started to get on some phone calls, talk to some people. Tried to make an appointment with the FTC, a report rather, excuse me. But I don't know if you guys ever called the FTC. You know, they give you the number. Federal Trade Commission, 877-382-4357. And they'll be like, we're not answering the phone. Well, what's today? Thursday? Are they off for the whole week for President's Day? What's the deal? I don't understand. So I got a whole bunch of addresses. This is great. So we have that Federal Trade Commission Consumer Response Center, which you can go on the ftc.gov and put your little report on a businesses that's doing bad practices or what have you. You know, like all of your utility bill places. Yeah. Because what we're finding out, and I looked up on the SEC, the SEC, I looked up on the sec.gov and printed this out. This is, well, okay, so they just changed the name. It says pursuant to Section 13 or 15D of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. What does that let you know? They're operating as a trust, you guys. So they already changed the vice president or the trustee. They just did it. February 23rd. What's today? That's today. They just changed it to a new person today. Yeah. Now, I did do one of those things where they call it a whistleblower with the SEC. And I do think I have something to do with that. I really do. But, you know, it's not like they're letting me know that. Now I'm getting hot. I got the heater on going here. Yeah, because I have electricity going. Hello. Yeah, and I'm going to be sending to their, who is it? Executive offices. I'll be sending them some of this stuff. But first, I went on that sec.gov. I looked up the Form 8K, which is their current report. You know, under that Securities Exchange Act of 1934. Do you guys know what that means? The Securities Exchange Act. You know these so-called bills that you think you're getting? Interesting. Yeah. You know these bills that you think you're getting? These are statements. That's not a true bill. And they're making we, the people, pay because we're thinking that we're doing commerce, which we're not. Because if you look up the legal definition, look up the legal definition of commerce. It means that you're making a profit. Are you making a profit by getting your utility bills? I mean, you know, you're getting electricity, gas, water, your phone. Are you guys making a profit getting that? No, you're not. But I have reason to believe that they've made us stock shareholders. And using your name and your social security number, it's kind of like an imposter thing, you know? Like, will the real person please stand up? We apparently, when we called them up to say, I need to have some service done, I need to get into, you know, get some electricity and blah, 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 which by the way, getting kind of hot. So I'm turning that little heater off. Oh no, I'm getting messages. I hate it when this happens because I can't concentrate when I'm getting all these distractions. So I want to go. I looked this up here. It talks about who is the address of the principal executive officers, registrant's telephone number. Oh, including the area code. Yep. And, you know, when you get on the phone, it doesn't do you any good because you're talking to some people who are probably getting minimum wage or what have you, and they don't even know. So you got to do all this stuff in writing. It says check the appropriate box below if the Form 8K filing is intended to simultaneously satisfy the filing obligation of the registrant under any of the following provisions. Written communication pursuant to Rule 425 under the Securities Act 17 CFR 230.425. I want to see what that looks like. So we're going to go there. Let me see. Well, hang on a quick second, because I got to get that screen up first. I don't know how to do this. Wait. Alrighty. I finally found it. Let's see if I can get it up here. So, here we go. 17 CFR 230.425, filing of certain prospectuses and communications under 230.135 in connection with business combination transactions. All written communications made in reliance on 230.165 are prospectuses that must be filed with the commission under this section on the date of first use. Okay, so this has got to do with the commission and those companies filing the prospectuses when they're operating under that the Security Exchange Act. So let me see. All written communications B that contain no more information than specified in subchapter 230.135 must be filed with the commission on or before the date of first use, except as provided in paragraph D1 of the section. A communication limited to the information specified in 230.135 will not be deemed an offer in accordance with 230.135, even though it is filed under the section. Cool. Okay, so I was just, when I put on pause, I was answering back some insurance agent that was denying my claim. And I was letting her know, no, I don't accept your offer. She goes, this is not an offer. I'm saying that I do not accept your denial unless you give me documentary evidence and proof. And she never did send it in, nor did she send in the policy of how she's supposed to be operating. She's using her feelings. Well, we don't feel that this was proper, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, we're not going with feelings. This is just business. This has got nothing to do with, you know, your feelings. It's got to do with business. We're doing business here, apparently. And apparently we're doing business under the shell of our personage, our cloak of the person. When they put your name in all caps, that's your little special purpose vehicle, like your car. So let me see, what does this say? Written communications pursuant to Rule 425. I want to see what this Rule 425 is. Because when we address these so-called trustees or vice presidents or CFOs or what have you, obviously email isn't getting to those people. We're getting the little peon people that are operating with their feelings and their lack of knowledge. So we do have to do written communication. And you can kind of see here, you know, any written communication that is limited to the information specified in 230.135 and does not contain new or different information from that which is previously publicly disclosed and filed under this section. Oh, man. Okay, sorry. Oh, hang on a second. I gotta answer this, sorry. Sorry about that. I gotta turn off my phone. When I see a local phone number on there, I'm kind of expecting clients to be calling me. But sometimes these robocall people, they kind of get like your local phone number and they act like they're, somebody that you know. But they're not. Anyways, nobody answered. So I'm wanting to look up, what was it? Rule 425. This is the one. Wow, look at that. File 5 copies of the prospectus. That's for them to do. No filing is required under 240. What is this? If the communication is filed under this section, communications filed under this section are also deemed filed under the other applicable. Okay. Is this a hyperlink? I don't think so. 234.25. These are just notes. Oh, yes. 425 is what I'm really wanting to see, but what is this all about? Number of copies. Okay, 5 copies of every form. Yeah, what? Sent or given to any person prior to the effective date of the registration statement, which varies from the form of forms of prospectus included in the registration statement as filed pursuant to 230-402A of this chapter shall be filed as a part of the registration statement, not later than the date of such form or prospectus is first sent or given to any person, provided, however, that only a form of prospectus that contains substantive changes. Yeah, like a new person, right? That's what we found. They put a new person after I did that SEC report. A whistleblower thing. They put a new person. It's February, or should I say February? So most likely, this is what they seem to do. It's weird. I mean, if you look at the sec.gov and you put in your Edison or whoever you want to put, your utility company or whatever, so many times they've closed it and then there's a new person. This kind of reminds me of those court cases when you go in where there's a judge and then that judge leaves and then somebody else comes in. That's what they're doing. I see that. All right, so wait. Wow, 10 copies of the form of prospectus shall be filed or transmitted for filing as follows. A form of prospectus that discloses information previously omitted from the prospectus filed as part of an effective registration statement in reliance upon Rule 430A under the Securities Act of this chapter shall be filed with the Commission no later than the 2nd business day following the earlier date of determination of the offering price. Okay, because securities, they're selling securities. Yeah. All right, so let me see what else is going on here. Our applications, when we sign up for something, they're using those. They're using our name. They're using our signature. They're using the social security number. They transfer them, turn them into securities. Yeah, that's what they're doing. So guess what, you guys? Bills? Huh? Who's supposed to be paying these bills? The United States under Title 18, Section 8. I know, you probably have heard that Section 8 roll around before. Those are those people who live in, houses that the government gives them money and we're paying taxes for that. Yeah, well, because you're volunteering to be their person. Just saying. I haven't actually gotten into any of those so-called benefits because I noticed some of the documentation when you want to sign up for those things, they say if something should happen to you, like you die, then we get to own your whole estate. I'm like, I ain't gonna sign none of that. So you really got to look at the little tiny fine print, okay? So we're kind of going over some of this stuff because when I looked up on the sec.gov, I wanted to find out, are these utility companies really operating as trusts? Are they foreign companies? Are they somehow nonprofit? Because they're making billions of dollars. And that's because we're donating and gifting to them. We're giving it to them. Yeah, they're a nonprofit organization, foreign. They're operating under the Securities Exchange Act, making money with our signatures and all these types of things. It's not good. Look at this, you guys. In the case of asset-backed securities, yeah, what do you think your asset is that you're backing on that security? Your house, your car? When you go and get tricked after you go into the dealership, they have you fill out another loan application that's really long, 10 by 14 or whatever. And they put your car as the security. They put it as the collateral on the top. Not good. That's a trick and a trap right there, because when they ran our credit, that dealership, they went in to the bank, the treasury, used our name, knocked 3 times on the ceiling. They went through there, used our name, got our number, got them the credits out. That can be converted into these things right here. This is where these companies have to do their prospectus. They have to do 5 copies, 10 copies, whatever it says here, in order to go with this Securitization Act of 1934. But I need to know. I feel like the foxes are guarding the hen houses, because when you go to complain, like to the police or whoever, they're like, oh, wait, did you go to try to buy a car? I go, yeah. Because that's a normal thing. They always ding your credit. And sometimes you walk out there with no car. I'm like, they got paid. Those people don't know this. Those, I don't know how much they make per hour, but they're not going to tell them this kind of stuff. That's the public. We're talking about private stuff here. Stuff that nobody knows. It's behind the scenes. So what do we have here? What is this thing called a prospectus? Oh man, I gotta answer this phone. Sorry. All right. Had to handle something there on the phone. And now let me see. I'm going to go back to what I was looking at and see if I can get my mind wrapped around what we're looking at right here. So we find out that these companies have to, under the Securities Commission Act, Exchange Act, exchange. Oh, they're doing exchanges. They're monetizing our applications, and they're making business on the backside privately, and we don't know about that. And then on the front side, the public, they're just raping us royal, because they're already getting paid, and they even have interest on the paper chattel. So let's just read a little bit of this. A form of prospectus that reflects facts, or even other than those covered in paragraphs B, 1, 2, and 6 of this section, that constitute a substantive change from or addition to the information set forth in the last form of prospectus filed with the commission. Apparently they have to do this every year, or when there's a new person, when they change the vice president or the CFO or whoever, because they're under the state that they are in, they have a state indenture. What does that mean? A state indenture. They are in collusion with the state as a limited liability corporation or what have you, but they are operating as if they are an agent of the state. That's how they're able to do this for the people, on the people, with the people not even knowing what's going on. So this is a thing, like, you know, in the military, you get the big cheese and you got all those people that are in the upper ranks. They're not going to tell all the little peon people, the little privates and E4s or whatever. They're not going to tell those people, PFCs and all that. They're just going to say, you, worker bee, do what you need to do and follow orders. Don't ask questions. That's how they do. So this is all like military, man. This is all like, I don't know if it's got to do with religion, military. It's a big thing. It's trust, though. So I don't know. I think it's got to do with ecclesiastical something. Law, trust law. But on the front side, they have you thinking it's commerce, commercial law. And they somehow are making, you know, trading men's souls for mammon, money. So this is the back stuff that people don't talk about. Back office stuff, how they get paid and all that. A form of prospectus that discloses information, facts, or events covered in both paragraphs, B1 and 3, shall be filed with the commission no later than the second business day following the earlier of the date of the determination of the offering price or the date it is first used after effectiveness in connection with the public offering or sales, or transmitted by a means reasonably calculated to result in filing with the commission by that date. 5, a form of prospectus that discloses information, facts, or events covered in both paragraphs B, 2, and 3 shall be filed with the commission no later than the second business day. So they have time things that they have to fill out, and they got deadlines. That's what this is showing. Following the earlier date of the determination of the offering price. Let me just see what this is, offering price. Let me see if it's a hyperlink. I don't know if it is or not. Yeah, my computer, okay. Offering price means the price at which the security is to be or is being distributed. The source is 17 CFR 242.100. Preliminary note, any transaction or series of transactions, whether or not affected pursuant to the provisions of Regulation M 242.100-242.105 of this chapter, remains subject to the anti-fraud and anti-manipulation provisions of the securities laws. This reminds me of the fox guarding the hen house. It's like they are manipulating, you know, the markets and all that, but they have their rules and regulations to say, if we put this in here at this certain time, by the second day, we're going to keep it at this price. This is the price we're going to do it at. But then they can change it. They can change it. Including without limitation. What would that mean? Without limitation, how many times can you change this? Section 17A of the Securities Act of 1933. We should look up 15 USC 77QA. Let's look up that. There's a lot of good stuff right here. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? Shift Command 4. I am going to just copy this. So this way I can have it on my computer. And, you know, if I get distracted again, at least I don't have a guideline of the things that I need to look up. So we want to look at the Securities Act of 1933, specifically 15 USC 77Q. I wonder if I should just see if I can command copy. Let's see if I can do that. I wish it was a hyperlink. Okay, let me delete this. We're going to put this command V. Let's see if it takes us there so we can at least see what that says. Oh, looky here. Fraudulent interstate transactions. Use of interstate commerce for purpose of fraud or deceit. It shall be unlawful for any person in the offer or sale of any. Let's go there, shall we? It's cold outside. It's trying to sprinkle a little bit right here, and so I'm getting a little chilly willy. It's a cute little shirt. All right. This is Cornell Law School, 15 U.S. Code 77Q. Fraudulent interstate. Doesn't say intra, it says interstate transactions. Use of interstate commerce. Hey, commerce. Just so you know, commerce. Let's click this for a second. Interstate commerce. Let's see what that says. The term interstate commerce means trade or commerce. Oh, in securities or any transportation or communication relating thereto among the several states or between the District of Columbia or any territory of the United States or any state or other territory or between any foreign country and any state, territory, or the District of Columbia or within the District of Columbia. And is this like federal government stuff here? What's the deal? United States Code. United States, that's federal government. How so? It's not the land, it's a corporation. United States Corporation is Washington, D.C. It's federal government. So this is federal government stuff. Interstate commerce. Okay, let's go back for a second. So what do we have here? It shall be unlawful for any person in the offer or sale of any securities, including security-based swaps. I'm going to click on that. The term swap and security-based swap have the same meanings as in Section 1A of Title 7. We need to look that one up too. I'm going to write these things down. Look up Title 7, Section 1A. Swap. I wonder if that has to do with transfer. Let me just see, but we're not going to look at that right at the second. Okay, security-based swaps or any security-based swap agreement as defined in Section 78C, subsection A 78 of this title. Which title are we looking at? Let me scroll up. Oh, 15. Okay, Title 15. All right. Because we're on Title 15 right now. It's got to do with consumer law. Let me just look at these notes for just a second. Editorial notes, references in text, Section 78C, which is what I'm going to look up, A, and 78 of this title referred to in subsection A was in the original section 3A 78 of the Securities Exchange Act and was translated as meaning section 3A 78 of Act June 6, 1934 to reflect the probable intent of Congress. Amendments. Yeah, that's when they amended everything. Let's see, 2010, subsection A, Public Law 111-203, and subsection 762C 2A. In introductory provisions inserted, including security-based swaps after securities, and substituted as defined in Section 78C, A, 78 of this title, for as defined in Section 206B of the Graham-Leach-Bliley Act. Let's see what the Graham-Leach-Bliley Act says. I think it has to do with giving notice or telling people what stuff means. Laws acquire popular names as they make their way through Congress. Sometimes these names say something about the substance of the law, as with the 2002 Winter Olympic Commemorative Coin Act. Sometimes they are a way of recognizing or honoring the sponsor or creator of a particular law, as with the Taft-Hartley Act. And sometimes they are meant to garner political support for a law by giving it a catchy name, as with the USA Patriot Act, or the Take Pride in America Act, or by invoking public outrage or sympathy, as with any number of laws named for victims of crimes. History books, newspapers, and other sources use the popular name to refer to these laws. Why can't these popular names easily be found in the U.S. Code? And this goes on to tell you how the United States Code is meant to be an organized, logical compilation of the laws passed by Congress. At its top level, it divides the world of legislation into 50 topically organized titles, and each title is further subdivided into any number of logical subtopics. In theory, any law or individual provision within any law passed by Congress should be classifiable into one or more slots in the framework of the code. On the other hand, legislation often contains bundles of topically unrelated provisions that collectively respond to a particular public need or problem. A farm bill, for instance, might contain provisions that affect the tax status of farmers, their management of land or treatment of the environment, a system of price limits or supports, and so on. Each of these individual provisions would logically belong in a different place in the code. Of course, this isn't always the case. Some legislation deals with fairly narrow range of related concerns. So they're talking about how a lot of these particular laws get categorized in the United States Code. The process of incorporating a newly passed piece of legislation into the code is known as classification. So they're classifying it under a certain, category. Essentially a process of deciding where in the logical organization of the code the various parts of the particular law belong. Kind of like when you're in the grocery store. Where's the bread section? Where's the milk section? Where's the fruit and vegetable section? They're going to have a certain section, but so sometimes classification is easy. The law could be written with the code in mind and might specifically amend, extend, or repeal particular chunks of the existing code, making it no great challenge to figure out how to classify its various parts. Like Title 15 is for like consumer law, or Title 18, that's for like criminal law. So as we said before, a particular law might be narrow in focus, making it both simple and sensible to move it wholesale into a particular slot in the code. But this is not normally the case, and often different provisions of the law will be logically belong in different scattered locations in the code. As a result, often the law will not be found in one place neatly identified by its popular name, nor will a full text search of the code necessarily reveal where all the pieces have been scattered. Instead, those who classify laws into the code typically leave a note explaining how a particular law has been classified into the code. It is usually found in the notes section attached to a relevant section of the code, usually under a paragraph identified as the short title. All right, well, look, here's this Graham-Leach-Bliley Act. And it's Public Law, Section 201B, Title 22, Section 2312, Hyde 32 CFR. Interesting. So, okay. I guess this tells you where it would be categorized or where it's mentioned. Kind of like a dictionary or title of contents. It didn't exactly tell you what it was, but let me see if we click on something, if there's a hyperlink, maybe it will go over it. So where is this? Let's just click on this here. There's the short title. Let's just look at that for a second. 12 USC. Banking, huh? Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Oh, this could be good to read. I can get distracted reading all this stuff. Deposits. Hey. Banks, Savings Association, Establishment Management, Board of Directors. Let's see what that says, Board of Directors. Just curious. The term Board of Directors means the Board of Directors of the corporation. You don't say. Okay, so let's Insured Depository. Where is this Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act? Let me see. The Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act. And let me just look at the notes for a second. I don't know how to go back. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. The Federal Reserve Act. What is this? Section 12B of the Federal Reserve Act was withdrawn from the Federal Reserve Act and made a separate act by Section 1 of Act September 21st, 1950, and set out this chapter. Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Financial Services Regulatory Relief Act, 2006. Omnibus. What's that? Financial Regulatory Relief. Hey. An Economic Efficiency Act. That sounds good. Oh, here we go. Short title. Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act. Let's see if they show that. Oh. All right. Well, we've already looked at this part again. I don't need to read that again. Take us back to that same spot. What do I have to Google it to find out? 32 CFR Part 744, Policies and Procedures for the Protection of Proprietary Rights in Technical Information. Proposed for release to foreign governments. Electronic Code of Federal Regulations. National Defense, Department of Defense. Oh, these could be good. Department of the Navy, Procurement, Property, Patents, and Contracts. Whoa. I don't want to look at that one, but hang on a quick second. Let me see. Authorization for release without consent of the owner. I think this is that what is it called? Gramm-Leach-Bliley. All right. Authorization for release without consent of the owner. Authorization for the, okay. Military equipment, what? Including the information essential for its operation, maintenance, and repair, and technical information known or claimed to be proprietary, which is being considered for release in accordance with 264.4 D3, may be released when the Chief of Naval Operations or his designee or bureau chief or deputy bureau chief determines under the authority of the act that such action clearly warrants the assumption of financial liability that may be incurred, and there is no acceptable substitute equipment or information for which consent to release is obtainable or which is not proprietary. So is this saying that they are keeping things secret because they're claiming it's our proprietary, information. We don't have to tell you. Yeah, that's pretty much what's been happening, huh? Like they're keeping tight lips They're not saying nothing. All right. What is this? It's kind of military. It's kind of interesting here. Military equipment. What up? Let me just see what this Mutual Security Act of 1954. They gave aid. Mutual Security Act? Yeah. Well, I already know. We already read this part. They're not telling us. See how they do? Take you back to the same thing. Oh, here we go. Mutual Security Act of 1954. Hide classification. Why would you want to hide all that? We just found it. I want to expose it. I want to see what it is. So let me see the short title. What is this? Did we go here before already? Foreign currencies. What's this all about? Dang, everything here is like military here. Look at this, for providing military assistance to nations, or mutual defense organizations eligible to receive assistance in this chapter. How is it that we can be giving military aid and money and stuff to other nations? Hello? For purchase of goods or services in friendly nations. So this is like all military stuff. This is like Admiralty, Maritime. For grants in aid to the increased production for domestic needs in friendly countries. For purchasing materials of United States stuff. Well, how is all this money happening? Little currencies? What's all this stuff mean? What is this? Any other local currencies owned by the United States in amounts not to exceed the equivalent of $75 per day per person, or the maximum per diem allowance established under the authority of subchapter 1 of chapter 57 for title 5 for employees of the United States government. What? While traveling in a foreign country? Shall be made to members and employees of the Congress for their local currency expenses when authorized as provided in subparagraph B. Speaker of the House of Representatives? Chairman? What? I was talking about money for all these people. Local currencies owned by the United States are not otherwise available for purpose of the Secretary of the Treasury shall purchase such local currencies. What is all this stuff? Oh, it's all about mammon. Money. For the love of money is the root of all evil. On a quarterly basis, the clerk of the House of Representatives and Secretary of Senate shall each prepare a consolidation of the reports received by them. Oh, goodness. This so reminds me of when you have a club on a campus or something and you're trying to get grants and monies. You have to like account for every little thing and you got to do all your procedures. That was just like grooming the kids for this kind of stuff. All right, well, it's starting to rain. If you haven't heard all that pitter patter that I'm going on with right now, I need to like get on this stuff. And it is very distracting, all these distractions. I'm getting phone calls and different people coming over and blah, blah, blah. I kind of need to see about tendering a bill for electricity. I'm gonna have to probably do this without filming myself because I need a break. Yeah, there's a lot of distractions. I'm glad my dog is acting good. She's being good, yeah. All right, well, I'm gonna have to pick up on this later because kind of losing my train of thought. There's a lot of rabbit holes to go in when you look at all those CFRs and everything. You can get lost. But I'm gonna probably look up a little bit more and take a break. Got to do that every once in a while, just for your sanity, right?